Know how important a healthy gut is for our overall health, because these tiny bacteria affect our sports performance and recovery, and if so, what can we do to influence them? Jonathan Sheeman, PhD, wanted to explore if the microbiome, or the collective term for the microbes inhabiting the gut, of an elite athlete could one day be replicated via the use of targeted probiotic supplements and then transferred to non-athletes. In his words, he wondered, can you extract Michael Jordan's biology and give it to others to help to make them the next Michael Jordan? As a first step towards identifying bacteria that may support the athletic performance, they collected fecal samples every day from 20 athletes who were training for the Boston Marathon. They did this starting a week before the race and continuing until a week after the event had taken place. When they compared the pre-race and post-race samples, they found a sudden and dramatic spike in the population of one particular type of bacteria in the post-race samples. The type of bacteria that rose in numbers was a certain strain that breaks down lactic acid, an acid that builds up in the muscles during prolonged exercise that leads to dreaded muscle fatigue. Having isolated this bacteria, the researchers are now feeding it to mice to measure its effect on lactic acid levels and therefore muscle fatigue when transplanted into a different host. Could this competitive advantage of having less lactic acid building up during exercise really be transplanted from the host into another? They're also analysing the microbiome of ultramarathon runners and comparing it to that of athletes for short, burst, high-intensity activities like rowing. What the team has found so far is the ultramarathon runners possess a certain type of gut bacteria that helps to break down carbohydrates and fibre. This role could give a crucial edge to long-distance athletes who need to sustain their energy from food over long periods of exercise, and therefore often carb load before an event, including lots of whole grains and slow-release carbohydrates in their diet. This same bacterium was not, however, found in the microbiome of rowers or athletes from the other short-burst, high-intensity disciplines, who are less reliant on accessing all potential energy sources from their food. Though there have been relatively few studies looking at the impact of gut health on athletic performance to date, the few that have been done often conclude the athletes have a greater diversity of microbes in the gut than the non-athletes. Building muscle is one of the key concerns for most athletes. They advise, although building the muscle is dependent on correct nutrition and strength training, the probiotics might also play a role for helping with the protein absorption and aiding digestion. The difference in athletes and non-athletes, the gut bacteria, might be down to external factors like diet. Firstly, in order to fully benefit from dietary protein, it's essential it's broken down properly, and only then it can be absorbed in the small intestine and put to use in the body. Male and female athletes sometimes consume a huge amount of protein in one meal. Some research suggests probiotic supplements can be an effective way for enhancing the body's absorption of vitamins and nutrients into the bloodstream. In a 2018 review of 3 clinical trials looking at the influence of probiotics on protein digestion, Wang et al. Concluded the probiotics have been shown to increase the protein breakdown and absorption. Furthermore, probiotics help the body to produce digestive enzymes, and these digest proteins that might otherwise be tough to break down and to absorb. Athletes can gain more from protein powders, shakes and bars by improving the protein absorption using probiotics. The soil-based probiotic strain Bacillus coagulans is directly involved in the digestion and the utilization of protein. Many mainstream protein shakes and powders are often made from whey, and this is known to cause symptoms of gastrointestinal discomfort like gas, bloating and diarrhea. This is often due to intolerances to the ingredients or to the sudden increase in fibre levels. Taking probiotics can boost the friendly bacteria, and this can help to promote more comfortable digestion and the absorption of the protein. Lactobacillus acidophilus is the most clinically researched strain that's been shown to reduce occasional abdominal pain, bloating and diarrhea. Studies show probiotics, especially those from the bifidobacteria and lactobacilli genera, can produce B vitamins, which are essential for energy production. It's important to note not all probiotics produce the same nutrients. Each species and strain will offer a different benefit, so it's hard to say which is the best probiotic for energy. Usually a mix is the best. Lactobacillus reuteri has been shown to be particularly helpful for producing B12, and we know that B12 is particularly important for energy production due to its involvement in red blood cell production. Lactobacillus rhamnosus is able to synthesize B1, B2 and B9 on its own. As all B vitamins are needed for energy production, it's safe to say taking a probiotic that aids in vitamin and mineral absorption will help to support your energy levels. Long-distance runners and cyclists seem to be especially prone to colds and digestive issues. Due to their long and strenuous training schedules, the athletes, like marathon runners, are at a far greater risk of immune suppression than their less active counterparts. Whilst a certain level of exercise is beneficial for supporting immunity, too much can be a stress on the immune system. This leaves the athletes at a far greater risk of picking up bacterial and viral infections, and this can be very costly to their training schedule and their chances in competition. Increasing evidence supports the idea that maintaining a healthy balance of beneficial bacteria in the microbiome can support immunity, and this leads to fewer illnesses and it keeps the body at its best. Certain probiotic strains like Bifidobacterium lactis BL4 and Bifidobacterium lactis BI7 have been shown to reduce the risk of getting infections and positively influencing the immune response in multiple clinical trials. There's research to support the idea that athletes are more susceptible to leaky gut. This is where the intestinal lining becomes porous or leaky. This can be due to the increased stress on the body and the altered blood flow away from the gut towards the working muscles. Probiotics can help here, as they've been shown to improve the intestinal lining function in athletes. It's common for athletes to experience some form of IBS, again due to the fact that extreme exercise is considered to be a physical stressor, and it causes blood flow to be redirected, and a decrease in digestive activity. For elite runners, diarrhoea seems to be the most common digestive complaint. The strain, Saccharomyces boulardii, has been shown to be helpful for improving occasional diarrhoea-related symptoms. Occasional bloating is common in professional bodybuilders due to the intake of excessive calories to avoid weight loss. For these athletes, adding in probiotic supplements containing Lactobacillus acidophilus can help with digestive issues. This strain also has a positive effect on immune response. The probiotics might not directly influence the performance of athletes, but they're hugely important for supporting it indirectly. Taking the probiotics can help prevent illnesses and protect against the symptoms of overtraining or digestive complaints, and this can be hugely influential on an athlete's career. The rise of sports psychology as a discipline is indicative of the integral role that the mind plays in health and success of athletes. Mental health disorders are prevalent among sports people, as demonstrated by the Australian study, where almost half of the athletes studied were experiencing at least one kind of mental health disorder, including depression, anxiety, and eating disorders. Mental health often manifests itself in physical symptoms like lethargy, nausea, vomiting, and even gastrointestinal dysfunction in the form of irritable bowel disease. Therefore, it's imperative that athletes look at their mental health as well as their physical health, because the two are thought to be very closely linked. The top probiotic for you personally will depend on your own health and fitness goals. Different strains will suit different situations, so pick a probiotic with the research behind it to help to support your needs. Whether you're a pro bodybuilder, elite runner, or a gym novice, supporting the gut health and adding probiotics to your fitness regime can have a positive effect. The protein digestion and the absorption can be aided by the probiotics. Different strains produce different B vitamins for energy. All probiotics increase the net absorption of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. Athletes suffer from lowered immunity, so supporting the microbiome supports their immunity. And digestive issues are common in sports people, and the probiotics can help these. To learn more about the mental health benefits of probiotics, check out my video on psychobiotics. To book a consultation to learn about herbs, supplements, or natural treatments, check out my website.